Hi, everybody. This is Fred Bruin with Remax Parkside Real Estate. I hope you had a happy, safe, and healthy holiday season and welcoming in a more prosperous and free flowing 2021. I'd like to share with you this video some brief real estate information, where we've been, what 2020 was like, and where we're going in the near future, 2021. So, if you'll bear with me, let's take a look at a slideshow that I've got set for you. Could have been better prepared. 2021, what have we got to look forward to, and how did we get to where we are today? First thing we want to take a look at is the year-over-year change in showing traffic. This is a great early indicator of activity. This is the number of showings going on with buyers. How many are out there kicking tires, looking at homes? The baseline was established in August 2019 for this illustration here. And we can see from August 2019 into 2020, we had a nice increase in activity. Even into the normally slower winter holiday season, we had good activity. Here in February, March, we quickly declined as the pandemic rolled in to, quite frankly, no activity whatsoever. But again, turned quickly and started realizing great activity to back around mid-May of 2020. We're probably where we should have been without the pandemic and seeing significant improvement from there. Good activity. Just a slight bump in the road here as far as the activity goes. Buyers are out there looking. They're interested. How about mortgage rates? 2020 mortgage rates started the year up here, good, almost 3.8%, but quickly declined throughout the year to a record low of 2.71%. This is the key driving force in buyer demand these days, is this record low mortgage rate. Makes properties so much more affordable, and particularly and most importantly probably is the monthly payment is so much more affordable. And just to take a quick look at what a home investment realized over 2020, the average home with a mortgage gained $17,000 in equity. So that's a $17,000 return on investment for your investment home, the property you're living in. The current average equity of a mortgage home is about $194,000. Now that's huge pillow of security for folks around the country. This is the average amount of equity a homeowner has today. The increase in equity realized in 2020 was 10.8%. So this 17,000 probably reflects a 10.8% average increase, which totals nationwide over $1 trillion. And this is a probably extremely interesting fact of homes that are, of all homes owned, 38.2% are owned free and clear, meaning there is no mortgage whatsoever. So that's 100% equity value there. The reason I point this out is if people are getting in trouble because of the pandemic, unemployment, not able to find work, there's equity in their homes that they can lean on to get them through the hard times. So we'll come back to this a little bit later in the discussion. Here's a snapshot year over year of the key metrics in real estate, and this is a pretty good indication of the seller's market we're in. So key metrics, what are those? Well, here, showings. We already know from the earlier graph that the showings are very strong. Buyers are active and out there looking, up 64% 2020 over 2019. Purchase applications up 22% over 2019. Pending properties, that's homes going into escrow, up 20% over 2019. Existing home sales up 26.6%, and new home sales up 32.1% over 2019. That's the demand side. All of this is the demand side. On the supply side, existing home inventory, that's homes on the market of existing homes, down 39%, and new home inventory is down almost 14%. So supply down, demand is up. It's a seller's market. A quick look at purchase applications year over year. So this is 2020 versus 2019. As we can see, very early in the year, January, February, mortgage applications were up 10% compared to the same time the previous year, 2019. We hit that speed bump again with the COVID pandemic hitting. And of course, a lot of activity just stopped. But as we came out of it, we can see that the mortgage applications increased again and were very significant and strong throughout the year, reaching 40% in September 2020 versus 40% higher than September of 2019. A great indicator of buyer interest and demand. So what do we have to look forward to? Well, the unemployment picture. This is the most recent recession, most recent numbers of unemployment caused by the pandemic and the recession. We saw a significant decline or actually increase in the number of unemployed, but the experts feel that we will be back to that pre-recession unemployment number within 4 years. I think that's being optimistic. We were at record low unemployment levels prior to the pandemic, and I'm not real sure that we can get back there under the current or the new administration coming in. But how does that reflect or compare to the 2008 recession, the real estate bust? You can see that the unemployment was far more severe, and it took 9 years to get back to that pre-recession point. And of course, then the Great Depression of 1929 was devastating, and it took 12 years to get back to unemployment levels prior to that 1929 recession. So not nearly as severe as some of the other issues that we have survived. Current unemployment projections, well, currently we're at 6.7%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Wall Street Journal survey believes that 2021 will come in at 5.6%, and we'll see slight declines over the next 2 years beyond 2021. Good numbers. Mortgage rates, well, we know that they're at record low, and Freddie Mac believes that we're going to continue to stay at these record lows through 2021. So buyer demand, the most important driving force behind buyer demand, is going to remain the same at these low mortgage rates. And I think that will keep buyers in the market. How does the recession reflect on home prices? Well, recession doesn't mean negative value depreciation. As we can see here, 4 out of the 6 recent recessions actually realized positive property value appreciation, and 2020 was big at 7.3% property value appreciation. Of course, we all know what happened in 2008, and it was drastic 20% decline in property values nationwide. Home prices, where are they going to go in 2021? Well, these are some forecasts by the National Association of Realtors, Realtor.com, CoreLogic, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and the Mortgage Bankers Association. As high as 6%, as low as 2%. These are all positive numbers. Property values going up. I'm kind of in the right about 5% range is my personal feel. There's been talk about a foreclosure boom coming because of the forbearances that were granted as a part of the CARES Act to help protect homeowners who had lost their jobs because of the pandemic. Mortgagors were able to defer home loan payments. They weren't forgiving anything, but they were just letting the homeowners making those payments off. And they came in 2 6-month um, periods. 6 million, almost 6.5 million families applied and were granted forbearance, meaning that they were in trouble and were having difficulties making their payments. And they talked with their mortgage lawyers and they were able to defer their mortgage payments. What's happened with those 6.5 million people? Well, 2.25 of them are in their extended period or the second 6 months, and they're still there with their deferred home payments. 48% of those folks, 2.5,625,000, either have removed themselves from forbearance or back on making their payments, or they just paid off their mortgage. Excellent numbers here. Nearly half are back out of the forbearance situation. 500,000 are still in their original 6-month forbearance period. These are the people that we might find have further trouble. 434 are out of forbearance. They've expired out of their 2 periods and are in some kind of loss mitigation, meaning renegotiating the loan, refi, something along those natures. 116 of these forbearance families are just expired and delinquent, and we might see some foreclosure out of here. But to go back to the previous numbers that we talked about, 90% of homeowners with a mortgage have 10% equity or greater. That's enough to sell their property, not go to foreclosure, pay the transaction costs of selling their property, and put a little bit of money in the bank. And they can start afresh. So I don't think we're going to see any foreclosure spike because of the forbearance issue and the CARES Act and the pandemic. And just to show you where we're at, back in January 2012, distressed sales, which are foreclosures and short sales. Oh, God, I remember the short sales. 35% of sales back in January 2012. In July of 2020, it only represented 1% of all sales. Even if this number doubled, you can see that we're still way below what the average number of foreclosures in just normal years is. So it's not going to be any burden on our economy. And Lawrence Yun, a chief economist for NAR, says just that. Any foreclosure increases will likely be quickly absorbed by the market. It will not lead to any price declines. So there's so much demand out there that we're not going to see property value depreciation because of this handful of foreclosures that will be hitting the market. Another thing I want to talk about is this urban to suburban migration. The pandemic caused, and the lockdowns caused employers to ask employees to work from home. And they were doing that and realized that they can work from home and effectively work from home. So they think to themselves, well, if I can do this, why am I living here when I would rather live in a much cleaner, safer, low density populous environment, raise my kids in a nicer area? And that has sparked an explosion in these urban to suburban migration. And it's happening here, and it's happening here on the Central Coast. The Central Coast is a destination location. And I think we're going to continue to see this. The question is, if companies require workers to return to the office once the pandemic has faded, then that demand will lessen and it will ease the pressure on supply. If companies commit to long-term remote work, this could be an ongoing demand on our inventory and would put upward pressure on pricing and pressure on our supply. So the jury's still out on that. But I think in the short term, 2021, we're still going to realize that urban refugees want to live here rather than in the downtown LA or similar areas. And this last slide here, just a look at our local market. This is my absorption rate. Now, absorption rate is a calculation we look at to see if we are in a seller's, buyer's, or a balanced market. And how we determine that is we take the number of active listings. If no more listings came on the market, how long would it take to sell those homes at the present rate of sale. And that's measured in months. And as this graph indicates, this green area, a buyer's market, is 7 months or more of inventory. A balanced market between 6 and 7 months. And a seller's market is anything under 6 months. And you can see back as far as January 2015, we've been in a seller's market for quite some time. We have not entered a buyer's market. And the most recent number I have, December 1st, is 2.9 months of inventory, which tells us that we are deep in a seller's market and the trend is continuing in that direction. And we know it is because we have limited inventory. There isn't a panacea of listings coming on the market anytime soon, and interest rates are going to remain low. Buyers' demand is going to remain high. So through 2021, we should have a very strong seller's market. A quick reminder, my winter 2021 home sellers guide and my winter 2021 home buyers guides are available. You can contact me directly, go to my website, or there's a link on every one of my daily blogs to get a download of these guides. So bottom line, 2021 looks to be a strong year. 2020, more sales in 2019. 2021 is going to have more sales in 2020. Prices are going to appreciate somewhere between 2 and 6%. I'm leaning more towards 5%. Buyer demand is going to remain strong. Inventory levels are going to remain low. If you want to sell a house, anytime, including right now, is a good time to get on the market. We're already seeing the new selling season kicking into a more normal year. And if you're thinking of buying a house, these low rates make it very affordable. And I would encourage you to talk to a local knowledgeable lender, find out what you can qualify for, and start exploring. Okay, any questions, give me a call. Thank you very much for spending the time with me. We'll see you next time.